Welcome, everyone. This is a new week, a new episode of DFS by Cage, episode 26. I am here to break down my DFS lineup for UFC Vegas 53, which is headlined by Rob Font versus Marlon Vera. Bantamweights collide in the top 10 of the UFC bantamweight division. Of course, we are sponsored by High Tide Herbal. If you guys are coaches or athletes and you're looking to help get your other athletes, of course, recovered from injury faster, or if you're looking to get your team healthier than they were before, go to High Tide Herbal. If you want to know who High Tide Herbal is, check out this video right now.
Offering high-quality, sustainable products with all-natural, lab-tested ingredients, it's High Tide Herbal's mission to help others live the longest, healthiest, and most productive lives possible. Their hemp-derived CBD products have a wide variety of uses, from helping sore muscles to skin hydration and minimizing skin irritation. They generate results based on your specific needs. Elevate your lifestyle with the new wave of wellness. Visit hightideherbal.com to learn more.
Once again, that's High Tide Herbal. All you got to do is go to www.hightideherbal.com. We got a special promo run right now. All you got to do is go to checkout, put in KHMIQ10 in the promo code spot, and you'll receive 10% off your next purchase. Once again, use promo code KHMIQ10 to save 10% off your next purchase at High Tide Herbal. As always, we are Cage by IQ, the best place for MMA content. We put out all the stops when it comes to MMA. We do videos for UFC, we do videos for Bellator, PFL, and even a little bit of One Championship. And then we always hit you guys with the interviews of all the best fighters. All you got to do is to find the rest of our content is, as you see right there, just follow and subscribe to us on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. All you gotta do is type in Cage My IQ in the search banner on each social media platform, and then all you need to do is look for the logo, hit subscribe or follow, and then of course on YouTube, the biggest platform to worry about. All we ask for you guys to do is hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that anytime I put content out, you guys can see it right away in the notification screen. And then, of course, please do us a favor, smash the like button down below and hit us up in the comment section to the right. Let me know what lineup you're going to use this Saturday for UFC Vegas 53. And just give me your opinions on who do you like on this card, your favorites, your overrated fighters, and then your sleeper fighters coming into this week. There's a lot of different styles this week. This is one of those unique card matchups where there's a lot of everything for you to pick from. So just give me your opinion and give it to us in the comment section. But I'm going to get started with my lineup here. You know how it rolls. We're going to go from least expensive to most expensive. We did pretty decent last week. Almost hit 400 points. It was good to just straggle by because it was one of those weeks where not a lot of guys stood out there. I had 3 people just missed the 100-point mark. Of course, it was all my last 3. I hit on Jessica Andrade, I hit on Claudio Puelles, and then I hit on Charles Jourdain. Of course, Dean Barry got killed by the no contest bug, and then my other 2 picks didn't pan out. But that's what happens in DFS. If you take that and the week before, we're doing pretty good right now. We had a high week, we had a good week. Let's get back on that high column there and get a high score this week with this lineup. But I'm going to first break down my 6 fighters who I'm going to use, and then I'm going to go into detail for each one. The first fighter that I have, my least expensive, is GM3 Gerard Merchant. He's going to come in at 7,400. We're going to use him right there. The next fighter is newcomer Johann Linnezy, aka the White Line. He's coming in at 7,700. Plug him in right there. The next person after that, shockingly, is Rob Font. You see him right there. He's coming in at 8,300. Boom, right there. After that, we got Grant Dawson, aka KGD. He's coming in at 8,700. Next is a women's fighter, Gina Mazzani, aka Danger. She's coming in at 8,900. And then last but not least, the most expensive person in this lineup is Natan Levy. I had a chance to go Tyra with a different lineup, but I chose to go with Natan Levy with the exactly $9,000 salary, what we have left there. So that's our lineup right there. We're going to start with Gerard Mershart here. Of course, at 7,400, he is going up against Christoph Jotko. He's 34-14. His FPPF is 65.3. He's rolling on a 3-fight winning streak where he has 3 straight submission victories, and coincidentally, he has one in the first, one in the second, and one in the third. So that's a crazy streak to think of right there. He has a sub in each round in the last 3 fights. Of course, he got that great one against Babinski in the first round early. Muradov, he got 3 takedowns in that fight. He was actually a heavy underdog in that, and he got the sub in the second round after Muradov kind of tired out. And then against Stoltzfus, he got 1 takedown. He had 3 minutes of control time, and he was able to pull off the submission victory in the third round. That fight was going back and forth between the two, and Stoltzfus succumbed to the submission tap there, so he was able to get that. In this fight, he's going up against a guy in Jotko, who is going to be likely the bigger guy. Is going to be better on the feet with the striking, but he's more of a clinch artist for a matchup like this. He likes to clinch you up, limit the striking that you're going to do. He's going to like those knees and elbows in the clinch, and he's going to push Marshall into the cage. I think this is a perfect matchup at the perfect salary to go at Mearshart to get another submission victory here. I feel like he's going to look at a lot of chances to paw guard when he's in the clinch with the Jocko, get him on his back because he can find the submission entries from the back, on top, from side, from really anywhere. So he's going to do whatever he can to get the fight to the ground so he can look for these entryways. And I think he does it because he's not going to be too afraid of Jocko's low volume striking. He does have a little bit of power, but I think this is kind of a discredit to Mearshart that he's rolling on 3 straight victories. And Jocko is still the favorite in this matchup, even with the low volume. But I think going in here, I think he's going to get the sub in the second round. I think it's going to take a little bit for him to get it. But at that value of 7,400, it's a risk willing to take, especially if he could get the victory via sub and get close to 80, 90, 100 points in this matchup. So it was a no-brainer to go at Mearshart at 7,400 with my first fighter in my lineup. The next person in my lineup is Johann Linnezy, the White Lion. He's making his debut in the UFC after winning the CFFC championship in his last fight. And he's going up against Gabe Green, who's a pretty good grappler. His salary is 7,700. He's coming in here with a lot of different background styles to him. He has the kickboxing. He has a little bit of Muay Thai. He has the clinch game. He has a very good polished boxing background as well. He is very explosive. The only negative is a lot of people think he could tire out the longer the fight gets going, but this guy has a lot of power that he packs. His punches. He loves to knock guys out. He hits you from all directions with his leg kicks. He goes in, goes out. He's willing to stand up and bang. He's going up against a guy who's going to look and grapple up with him. And that could be a recipe for a defeat for Johann Linnezy, but in my opinion, he's going to knock out Gabe Green in round 1. I think he's going to get it going early. He's going to use that range to get his leg kicks included in the fight. Then he's going to start getting going with his hands, and once he gets heated up, it's going to be hard to stop him. He's going to just overwhelm Gabe Green with different looks, and I think he catches him with a nice overhand shot right after a nice side kick to the stomach. That's going to stun him a little bit, and then he's going to attack him and finish him off with the knockouts. And with the first round knockout, that gets you over 100 points, and at 7,700, you can't beat that. So I'm going with Johann Linnezy with my next person in my lineup. The third person in my lineup is going to be one half of the main event. I got Rob Font, 8,300 salary. He's fighting Marlon Cheeto Vera. He's 19-5, 83.2 FPPF. Of course, he's coming off that loss to Jose Aldo. He still had over 150 significant strikes in that. He had a takedown with 2 minutes of control time, and he had almost 200 total strikes in that fight. So he still did pretty good in Draftkings, even though he got the loss in the fights before that. He basically dominated Garbrandt with over 175 strikes and 2 takedowns. He knocked out Moraes in the first round. He beat Simone by decision where he had 90 and then a takedown. And then he even defeated Sergio Pettis. Anthony Pettis in 3 rounds with 111 significant strikes, 2 takedowns, a reversal, and 6 minutes of control time. So he's been able to match the high volume and the ground game a little bit. Like he's more known for the boxing and kickboxing style range fighting, point fighting, than the grappling, but from time to time he can get a takedown due to his size. And against a guy like Marlon Cheeto Vera, who's going to look to stand and bang, throw those high volume power shots, mix in the leg kicks and the grappling along the fence with the leg sweeps, I think this is going to be a high output from Rob Font, where he looks to move around a lot, strike on the move, and just do enough, kind of like Aljamain Sterling did, where he moved around in circles, came in, came out, avoided the ping punches. I think with the range that Rob Font has, he can get that vicious jab going early and often, mix in the hooks and overhand shots, throwing a few leg kicks here and there. I think this is going to be a big time decision victory for him. And because it's 5 rounds, this is going to be his 3rd straight 5-round fight. He is now used to the fighting at this junction, those long fights, whereas Cheeto Vera hasn't done any yet in the UFC. And we don't know how he's going to fare into those later rounds, but we know Rob Font can do perfectly fine in that. And I think with the high volume, it's going to be easy to get that volume up in 5 rounds. So he's going to get the volume up. He's going to get the victory. I think he comes close to 90 or 100 strikes points in this. I mean, he's going to have over 150 significant strikes like he did last fight. And he might get a takedown and reversal on this. But with this, I'm the third person in my lineup. I'm going with Rob Font to pick up the victory over Cheeto Vera. Moving on to the next person in my lineup, I got Grant KGD Dawson. This was a tough matchup to decide between him and Jared Gordon, because they both have very good grappling backgrounds, and Jared might be a little bit better on the feet. But I trust the wrestling of Grant Dawson more, and I'm willing to take a more of a chance on him in Draftkings than I will with Jared Gordon. He comes in 8,700 salary. Of course, like I said, he's going up against Jared Gordon. He's 17-1-1 with a 90.6 FPPF. If you look right there, he's 4-1-0 in his last 5 fights. The one tie was against Ricky Glenn last fight. where he had low significant strike output, like it's been low to medium in these last 5 fights, but he's been averaging 2 to 3 takedowns a fight and around 6 to 7 minutes of control time, and then half of his strikes are coming from the ground and pound position, which adds up in Draftkings. I think against a guy like Jared Gordon, who has been prone to being taken down as well as take people down, I feel like Grant Dawson is in the mood to get 2 to 3 takedowns again. I think he's going to be able to do that. I think it's going to be 30 to 40 significant strikes, maybe 50 to 60 strikes via ground and pound. On top of that, I think he's going to have a submission attempt or two. Hopefully he could get a ground and pound. If not, I see it going to decision, where I think he gets the victory in this. This fight could go to a split decision, because I think with Jared Gordon striking, that could kind of match up well with the wrestling heavy background of Grant Dawson. But if he could, as long as he gets the victory, he is a really good guy to use in DraftKings with the combination of striking, takedowns, reversal, control time, and ground and pound strikes here. So with the next person in my lineup, I got Grant Dawson at 8,700. We got 2 more fighters left in the lineup. The first one is Gina Mazany, aka Danger. She has an $8,900 salary, which is really high for her type of fighter. That's been iffy since joining the UFC, but she's going up against Shawnee Young. She is 7-5 with a 52.0 FPPF. If you look right there, she's 1-4. She's lost by decision and then lost 3 times by knockout. But she did have that 3-round display that was really strong against Rachel Ostovich, where she got that late knockout. And then she had 72 strikes and 7 takedowns in that fight, with over 30 or 40 ground and pound strikes added on that. In her last 2 fights, with her being 1-1, if it wasn't for that knockout in this round 2, where she, for the most part, was dominating the fight, she would have had a very good showing against Cachoeira, but she got knocked out there when she tired herself out. But she had 4 takedowns in that fight, so that's 11 takedowns in 2 fights and almost 7 minutes and 50 seconds combined control time between the two. She knows how to get the fight to the ground and do a lot of ground and pound there. And she's been working on her movement, her pace, and the striking on top of that. If you look back at before that, she was struggling against Avila and Chasson, but against Lena Landsberg, she did have 2 takedowns and over 3 minutes of control time. So her game plan is simple against Shawnee Young, is to get the fight down to the ground several times, look for the ground and pound, and look for the submission entries right here. Shawnee Young has that kickboxing background. She's going to look to keep the distance, throw a lot of range of leg kicks. She has good hands, but she's been struggling in the UFC as well, and she tends to throw too many leg kicks where she falls in love with them, and then her weakness, get this, is the takedown defense. She doesn't defend against the takedowns that good because of all those leg kicks that she throws. Her opponents tend to time them and use those to gain entry into the takedown, and she usually has a low percentage of defending the takedowns, and usually runs into her, wind up getting ground and pounded or just decisioned by fighters who just control on the mat. And I think that's perfect for Gina Mazzani to get back in the win column. I could see her getting 2 to 4 takedowns in this fight, 5 to 7 minutes of control time, a mixture of the ground and pound and significant strikes. And hopefully she could get a mid to late finish via ground and pound here. But if not, that's okay. she's going to get the win, which is 30 points plus, and then combined with everything else, I think she could get anywhere from range of 70 to 100 points. It all depends on if she can get a finish or not. If she can get a finish, she could top 100, but if she doesn't, she could get 80 to 90, in my opinion, here, which is perfect because this is one of those weeks where you might not have a lot of finishes here, and it could be a lot of decision fights on here. So with the fifth person in my lineup, I'm going with Gina Mazzani at 8,900. I feel like she's one of the best chances to get the most points out of this salary this week. The last person in my lineup is a shocker to most, but I like him in this matchup a lot, is Natan Levy at the salary of $9,000. He's going up against Mike Breeden, who's coming in here with a boxing striking background. He likes to move. He got beat in his last fight against Hernandez in the first round where he got knocked out. This is a totally different fight for him. He's going to come in better and more polished here. But Natan Levy comes in with a great background. Before we get into that, you see here he lost to Rafa Garcia, and by decision he got taken down 5 or 6 times. Garcia has looked so much better since polishing his game up and changing things up a little bit. But he still had 3 takedowns, 2 minutes of control time, and over 50 strikes in the matchup. So here's a good debut in a close loss for him against the up-and-coming Rafa Garcia, who's making moves up in the rankings now. But coming into here, he has that jiu-jitsu and karate background. He uses that karate stance to pinpoint strike, and then he likes to go for the entries here. Of course, he likes to throw different style leg kicks, and he likes to get into the clinch and take his opponents down. And he's trained in all different sorts of striking. But I think the big thing in this matchup is going to be his clinch game and submission entries, because a lot of his wins are by submission. He prides himself on making his opponents tap, and he, for the most part, uses the strike and set up his entryways that get the fight to the ground and to get the submission. And ever since he started fighting. And I think in this matchup with Breeden, he can get inside of Breeden very easily. And I see a first round submission victory by guillotine for Natan Levy. This guy is, like I said, he's a third degree black belt in karate. He has a very high level jiu-jitsu background since moving to Las Vegas. He somehow just finds those entryways so easily. He's always thinking of the next step when it comes to that, and he's had a knack for it. And I think he gets an early guillotine victory against Mike Breeden. And Mike Breeden's going to be a little bit better on the feet with his hands, but I think overall the legs and the legs, the combinations between the leg kicks and the striking, and then the grappling favors Natan Levy heavily in this matchup. So I'm going with Natan Levy by first round submission here. I think he gets over 100 points here. And at your highest price fighter in your lineup, that's what you need here. You need almost a lock here. And I think Natan Levy is a lock for this week at the salary of $9,000. So I'm going with Natan Levy as my last fighter on my lineup. As you see right there, my lineup is set. I'm going with Gerard Meerschaert, Johann Linnezy, Rob Font, Grant Dawson, Gina Mazzani, and lastly, Natan Levy. That is my lineup for this week's UFC Vegas 53 for DFS this week on DraftKings. You can follow all my DFS by Cage videos here on the Cage My IQ YouTube channel. All you got to do is just go to www.youtube.com/c/CageMyIQ, or you can just search Cage My IQ in the search engine on YouTube, and it will pop up right away. You see right there in the background, we got a new logo. I've got the old YouTube page back up and running. We are still partnered with the Fighters First Network. We're just back with the Cage My IQ YouTube channel to get you guys to the content faster. But once again, all I ask for you guys to do before I get going is subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash the like button down below, and support us by hitting us up in the comment section of this video to let us know what you think of DraftKings lineup for UFC Vegas 53 this Saturday. But other than that, I will be back next week for my DFS by Cage video for UFC 274, which is headlined by Charles Oliveira going up against Justin Gaethje for the UFC Lightweight Championship. But as always, I'm your host, Cage. This is Cage by IQ, and we will be back with more content for you guys, the fans. So I will talk to you guys next week. See ya.